Hello, welcome to In the Court of the Wenton Knave. This week we're doing a mini review. It is a mini review because I'm not worthy of just another band from LA. We're on album number 13. This is an interesting one. It kind of comes after 200 Motels. So we've had Fillmore East, we've had 200 Motels. I get the impression, as this was released in '72, this was a result of circumstance that it had to be released. It has its place. It's important because it features Billy the Mountain, which was left off Fillmore East and is an astonishing piece of work. It is an astonishing piece of work. So this is the Billy the Mountain album. I think the reason I see this, the reason I see this as like a postscript is because of bad things happening on tour. '71 was not a good year for Zappa. As well as getting some bad reviews, which we'll talk about in a minute, he had a bad time on tour. And the famous Mantra concert at the casino, recorded for posterity with Deep Purple in the audience. Deep Purple were going to record their album, but it burnt down, and the fire across the water, creating smoke on the water. And obviously that ended up being a good thing for Deep Purple because it helped them create their most famous song. But very bad for Zappa because all his equipment was in there, was destroyed. The concert is worth listening to because nearly all the concerts they're into King Kong at the end, and the sound quality is really good. That's available on YouTube, so I'd recommend that show for a really good Flo and Eddie show. But obviously Zappa's equipment was destroyed, so that wasn't a lot of fun. He wanted to cut his losses and go back home, but he was persuaded by the rest of the band to stick it out, rent some gear. I think they rented ELP's gear and see the tour to the end. And sadly, in the UK, thanks UK, at the end of the concert, some idiot ran across the stage, pushed him into the orchestra pit, and it was a big drop. So he was seriously injured, bringing it into touring for the time being. In some ways it was a good thing because the music that came out after that I think is fantastic, but it brought an end to the Flo and Eddie band, sadly. There was a little bit of animosity, a little bit of misunderstandings maybe between them, so this ended up being the last Flo and Eddie album. It opens with Billy the Mountain. Billy the Mountain is sidelong. It's 24 minutes 46 seconds. It is a parody of like a rock opera, so it's very much a vocal thing. It's about the story. It's not a jazz fusion epic or anything like that. It is nothing like Little House I Used to Live In, despite the similar length. The story I find a bit impenetrable. I've only heard this for 2 weeks, but Billy is a mountain and the government are trying to stop him, I think, or something, and so they send a car. Maybe it's the Tinsel Cock car, I don't know. Is that the Tinsel Cock car? I don't know what that is. But they send this car to get Billy, I think. But then Billy travels by wiping syrup on the inside of his leg and getting flies to all fly up inside his pants. And this helps him travel. And then in the end the baddies get crushed by Billy's laughter, which creates an avalanche, I think. I don't know, really. There's some really funny bits in it. It's an amazing achievement. It's amazing that when they did the live album they didn't include it, really, because the amount of work put into a piece like that, goodness me. So it's an important milestone in his career, really. But with the cursory listening I've given it, it is not a seminal Zappa work. It is brilliant and obviously an achievement. It's not something I'm going to go back to a lot. It's something I need to absorb to get. I don't really understand the story yet, so but I do like it. But then I like most of Zappa's stuff, so that doesn't mean a lot. The rest of the album is all sort of basically bits and pieces of stuff that wasn't included on film or that they were playing live, which makes it very much worthwhile, I think. What was not included, of course, was Sofa, because Sofa was a Flo and Eddie song originally. So it's interesting that one wasn't included, but some of this other stuff was. A couple of songs we know, a couple of songs we don't know. But track 2, so the first side and the second side, for me is the best moment on the album. Call Any Vegetable, going all the way back to Absolutely Free. That was a very rough performance of a really interesting piece of music. This is an absolute killer, heavy version of that song. Blows the old version out of the water. And it's a great example of, it's not the Mothers. Forget the Mothers, it's Frank Zappa, and if he gets better musicians, he has better results, because it's brilliant. Flo and Eddie's vocals really shine through on this one. It is great. I love it, and it's possibly the moment that's made me laugh the most of all the Flo and Eddie stuff is there's the middle section where one of them's going, I can't do it, but the where can I go to go and do this and this, and it's not musical timing so much as comedy timing in the way that he repeats it. Makes it very funny. It just kills it, really. I love it. Eddie, Are You Kidding? That's phrase I know from the You Can't Do That on Stage in Volume 1, where they released Sofa, the original Sofa, and he was talking about whether he's kidding or not. Let me tell you, I am not kidding. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. But it is co-written by Flo and Eddie, interestingly. I should say their names, Mark Volman and Howard Kaylan. Yes, interesting. Music by Frank Zappa. Magdalena, a song about incest, I think. Lyrics and music by Howard Kaylan and Frank Zappa. That's another interesting one. Some co-written stuff. I don't know if he's crediting them on the improvisations or not. I mean, there's a lot of improvisation here. And Billy the Mountain. I suppose what's so significant about this lineup is the way they could have very, very tightly with improvisation in there as well. No, it's not like the 88 band playing this amazing jazz stuff. It's vocal, it's funny, and that is a good thing. we end the album with Dog Breath. One of those, I assume one of the only times where Dog Breath is played without Uncle Mick, because they usually play it together. And it is the vocal version of Dog Breath, obviously, because he's got the singers to do it. It is a footnote, but it's good. See you next time.